the best moment and the biggest moment for sure was the final whistle in Harilao when we won the title. And so it's a really challenging league, and it's nice to have this opportunity in my age. And in the other hand, the game with Panathinaikos, that crazy Oaxaca stadium with both sides of fans totally pushing, and all of us know that it was a crazy cup final there. It wasn't and it isn't my plan to play again in Greece, but I would never say no because we know how football is. I was also in talks with Panathinaikos.
Okay. Would you play for any other Greek team besides PAOK?
Big question. It isn't my plan, and it wasn't my plan at all. That's why also I left Greece. That's why when I said I will not anymore continue, when the decision was done to be not anymore in PAOK, it was clear for me that I'm gonna leave Greece to take a new experience. What will come in the next years, I really don't know. But to be honest, it wasn't and it isn't my plan to play again in Greece. But I would never say no because we know how football is. One thing for sure is that I would never play for Aris.
Okay. Did you have a request from another team, another Greek team?
Last summer, you mean?
Yes.
Look, as many newspapers, and also they reported before I renewed my contract with PAOK after, I think, before the season we became champion. I was also in talks with Panathinaikos. But then it was clear that PAOK wants to renew me, and then I was also very clear that first of all I want to stay in PAOK. And now this summer, to be honest, I had two opportunities very early. It was Kiel, where I am right now, and the other one was Rapid Vienna. And you know, those clubs in Germany and Austria, they are way earlier to do their decisions comparing to Greece, for example. So I have been in touch with them already end of the season or before we finished the season in Greece. And then I decided very early that my decision will be between those two clubs. And then there didn't came any other talks anymore with Greek clubs and so on because, more or less end of May, I was clear how to do and what to do. And as I can see also from all the other players that they are ending their contracts in Greece and they are changing their clubs in Greece, no one is doing this before July, for example. And for me, it wasn't an option at all to wait until July to see what other offers are coming. So I didn't have the clear offer, I would say in April or May from Greece already. That's why for me it was clear that I'm moving out from Greece after my end of contract in PAOK.
Yes. Stefan, it's great honor of us for having you here with us today. We are all fans of PAOK. Shall we say a little bit questions out of PAOK? A little quick one. First of all, historical Austrian football question. Would you prefer Ernst Happel or Matthias Zindelar as the best Austrian footballer of all time?
Best Austrian footballer of all? It's a huge historical question. As I played for a bit, our biggest goal getter was Hans Gankl. He played for Barcelona, so he was maybe the most well-known and best striker we ever had in Austria. Ernst Happel, I just can remember him as the biggest coach we had in Austria. As a player, it's too long ago. So I would say coach Ernst Happel and player yes, Hans Gankl.
And the name that wrote history for Austria, Matthias Zindelar?
To be honest, I don't know a lot about him.
He had a lot of goals with Austria, and he was a great attacker. He had,
Yes, I know that a lot, but as I said, as a player, I don't remember him a lot. That I didn't see him playing a lot.
Okay. You have your degree in for your studies in a university that will be associated with football, I think, with sports, right? Am I right? Yeah. Okay. How you seeing the prospect that the football, all the teams in Europe, if you think that all the teams should make players, make kids from their training facilities and not buying footballs from other countries and
Me, as I said before that I'm a football romantic guy. So for me, for example, what is doing Athletic Bilbao, it's awesome, you know. And in the same way, they are also successful. So of course, this is the best combination.
In academies.
Yes. For example, this is an amazing, unique thing that they are doing, and it's awesome. On the other hand, I think I would say fans and people who are loving football, who are following football a lot, we also need to understand that there is a lot of interest in economical stuff around football. So football is getting more and more a business over the last few years, and that's also part of the game. That's why also clubs has new stadiums. We can watch football all over the world on TV. We can watch amazing games all over the world. This is the advantage that we have. On the other hand, of course, I have also the opinion that each club needs to keep their own identity. And I think this is the things that we can appel and ask from business guys, from managers and so on, that they should never forget the identity of the club. And as long as these things are staying in the clubs, I think we will still have a lot of football fans. But if the identity of the clubs are disappearing, this is the worst what can happen. And I think and I hope that this is never going to be happen, because then we really we lose the love of the game, you know, because each one is a fan of a team because of the historical things, because of players that they have the identity of the club, you know. And this is very, very important. That's why I think you are totally right that it's important to invest in the academies and to have such academy players as well, because PAOK is the best example. The academy players, this makes the club proud, this makes the fans proud, because they are one of the team, you know, and one of the club.
I agree. Recently, there is a Danish team, Midland. You know Midland, FC from Denmark. They made a Moneyball study. They bought very cheap footballers that were very
high rated in different statistics.
Yes, and
with
they bought
potential.
Them. With high potential. They bought them 3 million euros and sell them 30 million euros in some 2-3 years playing for Midland.
Look, I think that the clubs have the possibility, of course, to bring young players to let them grow and to sell them. It's important also for the healthiness to the club to have also income from transfers, especially in lower leagues like in Greece, in Czechia, in Austria, in Denmark. These are leagues that, of course, always these leagues are going to sell players to bigger leagues. That's totally natural. And then on the top, you know, of the competitions, I think there is both possibilities to be successful, because on the other hand, as you mentioned before, you have the owners from Arabia with Manchester City and with Paris and so on. But on the other hand, you can also act or manage it like a club like Bayern Munich, for example. You know, Bayern Munich is a membership club. They never sold the team to another kind of president from Arabia or somewhere else, and they are still successful. So I think both ways are working. For me, as I said before, the most important doesn't matter if you have a financial guy in the background or not. The financial guy should respect the identity of the club. And I think if this is not coming or working well, then the fans have to do the protest and so on to don't give the identity away. That really the guy who takes over the club knows the history of the team, likes the club as well, is kind of fan of the club, and so on. But for me, both ways are possible. And for the smaller teams, as I mentioned before, this is kind of system that you need to have income with kind of transfers. So that's totally normal that clubs are trying to push young players and to sell them to bigger leagues and to make also money, to invest this money again. And in the end, the clubs want to be successful, and each club has its strategy. And that's also one of the nice things in football, that not everyone is doing the same, and not everyone can be in the same way successful. So you need to be creative as well to see which kind of club I am. I think the system of Midtjylland would not work for the system what PAOK has, for example. So I think the clubs need to understand where they are, how they are, in which league they are playing, and how also the league works, to be successful and to be financially healthy as well.
Okay. And one last question from me. Recently, there was a scouter in Brazil, a Brazilian guy. He had played in PAOK many years ago, and said that there are no more much talent in Brazil in young kids as they were in the last years. And that's the problem, because of all the kids, all the young kids are very in the internet, in the games, and not playing soccer in the beach, in the streets
anymore.
Yes. Do you think that as we take that from the Brazilian and put it in every country, in Greece, in Austria, in Czech, in Serbia, do you think that will be a future problem in the sport?
Yes, I think so, that this is going to be a problem all over the world. And I think it's up to the parents, especially to the teachers, to us as football players and role models for the kids, to show that being outside, playing football, playing other kind of sports is much more interesting than comparing to sit just at home and to play video games and so on. Of course, when we were younger, me, for example, I played also video games, but I was inspired from my brothers, from other guys outside on the street, because they played football and they were good, and I wanted to do the same in the end, because we are role models, the players, the teachers, the parents. Because me as a father now, I have 2 kids at home. If I'm sitting all day at home in front of the TV or playing PlayStation and my son is seeing it, of course he want to do it as well. But when I'm taking my son to the games, to the trainings, or I'm with him in the playground playing with him football, of course he gonna likes it as well. And then he asks again to do it. And then if the parents or the teachers say, no, you can't go out to play because I want to chill at home and so on, then of course the kid will also stay inside and is not interested anymore to be outside and to play football and so on. So I think it's really up to the parents and to us as role models to show that, to show the way and to show how to do and what to do. To be an athlete and to be creative in the mind, also to be outside. Doesn't matter is the weather nice or not, that you can have fun outside, to play football, to play other things, other sports, whatever. So it's important for me, I can say as a father, that I'm trying to show my kids that not only sitting inside and watching TV or play video games is the way of life, that you can have much more nice things outside on the streets, especially with the ball and with other kind of sports. But what I can mention about Greece is also now that I think that you have a great future in front of you as a national team as well, because now you have many players, younger players with great experience already, that they played in the Greek league first of all, and then they moved abroad and they are now already in top leagues playing an important role. So I see a great future, and for sure this was the way of the last year's Greece team. Imagine just 5-6 years ago, where Greece has been also in the 5-star rate from clubs and so on, and how Greece in the last 5 years growed up with Europe League, Champions League, Conference League, and so on. And the Greek young players, even if there is a lot of foreign players in the league, they improve as well if they are in a better league, if they are in a better environment, they have better teammates and so on.
They're gaining experience, yes.
Especially, as you can see now, the Austrian national team now is on the peak. We we qualify for the World Cup, because this was the work over the last years, and I think also Greece is in front to take rewards from the work they put into the league, into the clubs in the last years. Also, I can mention, for example, today Austria, they played in the Under-17 World Cup semi-final against Italy. They won 2-0. Imagine now Austria is in a World Cup final, even if it's just Under-17. But let's say 15, 20 years ago, nobody could imagine ever that Austria will be in a World Cup final in football, When I was younger and I played for Under-19, Under-20, Under-21, we could not even qualify for a European Cup with Austria. And now we are in a World Cup final. That's awesome,
This was exactly my next question about the national team. A comment about your national team. You have a lot of top players, David Alaba and Arnautovic, and about the World Cup, which is coming. One comment about this as well.
Yeah, first of all, it's the first World Cup for Austria since '98. The last World Cup we have played was in France in '98. And now we qualify again with our own power without to be the creator of the tournament. So this makes everyone really, really proud in Austria. And those players who are now for the last 5-6 years together, and some players are even longer, they deserve it. Because now, for example, as you mentioned, David Alaba, Marko Arnautovic, they have more than 100 games for Austria already. They came, even David Alaba, for example, he played in Bayern, he played in Real, and he always came to each game that the Austrian national team played. Doesn't matter if they played against San Marino, if they played a big game, he always came, And so this kind of generation, they deserve to be now in a World Cup and to play a World Cup. And yeah, our national team and our football also improved a lot, because if you're going to see now the national team, we have main player of Bayern Munich, we have main player of Tottenham, Danso, we have main player of Dortmund. We have, right now was injured a lot, but player of Real Madrid. So this is the top of the top that are playing in European football. And so I think that all of them, they deserve to be in the World Cup. And it's a huge stage for Austria, of course, to be in the World Cup, which helps again in the end the league as well in Austria to improve, because the league right now lost a little bit quality comparing to the last years, because when I left Austria, Austria was much higher in the 5-star rate comparing to right now, and then it changed and Greece came up a lot, and I think Austria need to be careful, need to take a lot of attention also now in the first division to improve again as a league.
And something else regarding the national teams, except from football, do you watch other sports? Because as I know, I think your brother is a volleyball coach.
Yeah.
If I'm not.
My brother is a volleyball coach, so I watch him a lot, because he's the national team coach of. Yes, he's the national team coach of the Austrian women, which also qualified now. Imagine that in volleyball, first time in the history of Austrian volleyball, the women team qualified for a European Cup. So in the next European Cup, Austria is there, and my brother is a coach, which is amazing, and it's a historical thing. And then he is also a coach for a team in Germany, right now second division, also volleyball women. So he's national team coach, and on the other hand, he's also a coach of a team. And they are trying to promote this year for first division in Germany, which is one of the best leagues, what means volley. And there is also my recommendation for PAOK volley. So one day you need a coach, you can take a Schwab, but another one, which is a much better volley coach than me, because I know that also Greek has a good league in men and women, and also the national team of Greece is good in men and women. So also Greece is a huge volley country. So I like volleyball. I like also basketball. I watch a lot of basketball. And of course, as Austrian, I did also a lot when I was younger, skiing. Of course, I'm following also and watching skiing. That's our national sport, especially in the winter. So this kind of sports I like to do by myself, and I'm also going to watch it. And right now, to be honest, I love also paddle, but more to play and not to watch it. I like to play by myself also.
Okay. And some of the last questions. First of all, a prediction for this year's championship in Greece.
It will be, in my opinion, a duel between Olympiacos and PAOK. I don't see Panathinaikos and AEK until the end fighting about the championship, as it was maybe last year or 2 years ago. I don't see that. But everything is possible. But for me, it's a duel between PAOK and Olympiacos, and it will be a really interesting duel. And I think also that both teams have advantage comparing to the other two teams, that they didn't change crazy things. What means coach? What means many players? You know, PAOK still has a good group of players that they are already longer there, and they know the coach very well. I think Olympiacos also now the same with Mendilibar. And I think the other clubs doesn't have right now this consistency, because AEK changed a lot. Panathinaikos is crazy as well with many changes. So I think in the end it will be a duel between Olympiacos and PAOK.
Do you have a plan to visit Greece in the next months? Maybe during summer, or to watch a football match? I know you have a lot of...
Yeah, because of the schedule, to watch a football match is difficult, but
let's make it a bit spicy. If PAOK goes again at the FIBA Europe Cup final, will you come?
To
basketball.
To basket, you mean? If my schedule allows, I would love to come, and I would also love to see PAOK, for example. They qualify in Europe League and they play against a German team on a Thursday night. I would take my car and I come to the game in Germany for sure. It doesn't matter how long it is to drive, but I'm gonna do it. My plan is, to come soon as possible to Greece. I think maybe next national team break in March can be realistic to go, or to spend some vacations in summertime. I think these two options are the most realistic. Or, as I said, to see a PAOK game in international competition, basket or also football, somewhere close in the area where I am. This, I think, are the most possibilities.
And before we close, anything you want to say to PAOK fans?
Yes, I wish that all of you PAOK fans stay as you are, a huge family, supporting each other with all the ups and downs. Keep the passion, even if sometimes it's hard. I know it very well when we were down. The critics, the passion, but this is a part of the game. But never lose the respect between each other, between the groups, between to the players, between all the people that loves PAOK. That's the most important, because in the end we are all one, the PAOK family. And I wish PAOK as well, the fans and the players and the team, that the team is winning something, because we know that is a very big year. So I hope that this will end with something in the hands of the players and the fans and the club.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefan.
It was a great honor to host you, and
Great honor, yeah.
we hope you are healthy. And
thanks for the interview as well.
Playing.
Always
playing
funny
like-
to talk
playing
to you
like
guys.
Ty.
And yeah, Tyson is a role model as well. Yeah, he's, as I saw yesterday, Papu's celebration. So he's a role model as well. Unfortunately, I never had the speed of him. Otherwise, I would be better than Tyson. But no, I'm joking. But yeah, he's a great guy, and I wish that he's gonna take something this year in this age, and he's a role model in his age, 100%. As Andre was as well, because he played also so long, and he was also older than me. I am right now, so I have my role models in front of me, and I'm trying to do the same.